Did you know that podcasting is the new gold rush? Companies like Apple, Google, and Amazon certainly know that it is, and that's why they're wanting more podcast shows from interesting and beautiful souls just like you. Christine Blasdale is the author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Your Amazing Itty Bitty Podcast Book, and she wants to help you get your very own podcast out into the world. So to book a free podcast strategy session with Christine, visit ChristineBlasdale.com. Again, that's ChristineBlasdale.com and schedule a consultation. And trust me, you'll be happy that you did.
Welcome to Out of the Box with Christine, the podcast for conscious entrepreneurs. Are you willing to step into your greatness? Are you ready to shine? Well, get ready, Truth Seeker. You're in for an amazing ride. And now, here's the host of the show, Christine Blasdale.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I am Christine Blasdale, and I'm so excited about today because it's kind of a reunion of spirits, I think, today. My dear friend Niurka is joining us, and Niurka is a transformational leader and master results coach who has guided hundreds of thousands over the years, hundreds of thousands of people from all walks of life to elevate the way they think, the way they speak, and most importantly, the way they live. And I am so absolutely excited to have you on Out of the Box with Christine. Welcome, Niurka.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here with you and with everyone.
And I am I am thrilled that you're here too, because you've just recently had quite an interesting experience, have you not?
Well, which experience specifically are you referring to? Yep, my body has been wiping out COVID.
I love how you frame that too. My body has been wiping out COVID.
Yep.
Whereas so many people in the last 2 years, it's been, I actually saw someone post something on social media. It just says, I've got COVID. And I thought, okay, that's good. But is there a better way to reframe that? So your body has been wiping out COVID. This is amazing.
Totally. And it's been quite an experience. And really coming into it, when this whole pandemic started, I became even more present to how important it was to be present with our health, strengthen my immune system. And I've taken more supplements in the last 2 years than I've likely taken before, and it's making a big difference. So today is day 11, and I feel strong, I feel clear, I feel present, and I feel that it's gone now. So it was kind of like a little lingering there for a minute, but I knew that, like I said, my body's wiping this thing out and becoming even stronger through it.
And over the past 2 years, the collective, right? The
Yes.
collective humanity has been through a hell of a lot. Isolation, distance from family and loved ones, literally separated for months and months, if not, years. The fear factor that we experience, and this is what I really wanted to talk to you about, is that mantra of the media. I know I personally don't watch television. I don't even listen to the radio. I choose what I want to inspire me, right? The kind of content I want to inspire me. But the mass population, it has been a lot of fear. And I want to ask you, what do you talk to when you talk to your wonderful clients and the people all around the world? What do you talk to them about in regards to fear and the fear that they've been experiencing?
One of the things that's so important is what we place our attention on, what we allow what we allow and where we allow our focus to go. And I'll be really frank. I mean, in the last 2 years, I personally watched more news media than I had seen in my entire life combined, because I was like, what is it that's going on right now? And I could feel within my own energy field the depleting, how you become depleted in the presence of observing that, and the polarity that it causes, and the fear that is induced in the presence of that. So one of the things that I would invite people to consider is that our attention is our power, is our creative power. So what we give our attention to, that's a creative process. So rather than allowing the hypnotic trance, because that's exactly what it is. And you may know this about me and my company. I've had my company for 21 years, and my company is an institute of, among other things that we bring into our courses and our transformational experiences, is an institute of hypnosis. And I am a hypnotherapist and a master of hypnosis. And I am witnessing people going into a trance that is based in fear when that's where their attention is on. So allowing us to become even more aware of that, and the choice to unplug and then to plug into conversations like this, plug into conversations that inspire, that expand our awareness, that bring new levels of possibility into our lives. It's so important where we place our attention.
That is so key, because and just like you, if I listen to something, or if I watch something on the screen, I listen to my body, my soul, my heart. And if I feel icky, that's the technical term for it. If I feel that ickiness, and it's like a goo, it's like a black goo. If I feel that anywhere around me, I will immediately shut it off, go somewhere else, change my perspective, listen to music, listen to yogic mantras, go for a walk or something. I have to change my state, because it is consuming. It is all consuming. And when you actually step back and you take a look and you see at what that fear programming does, is that it turns people into, many times, a robot of repeating those mantras, right? Repeating those mantras.
Not who we are. This fear is not who we are. Who we are is love. Who we are, each one that's listening right now, has a unique expression. And as we tune into the heart and we unplug, like you said, from the ickiness, of what's going on. A lot of people ask me on social, because I posted that I was wiping out COVID, and a lot of people were asking me in the comments, like, are you vaccinated? Are you vaccinated? And I could hear the question beneath the question. The question. Right? So I did a video on it. And I don't know if you saw that video, because that's why they reached out to me. They said, will you be on the show?
I did. I did, because there was so much judgment placed on, are you vaccinated?
Are you vaccinated? And so I did this video, and I framed it pretty funny not funny, but I opened it up and said, people have been asking me, am I vaccinated? And I'm going to respond to that in this video. So, and then I opened up the video, and I was just graciously thanked everyone for all their love and healing vibes and their support. And then I said, here's my response to that question. And I paused and I said, I am not responding is my response. Yes. I'm not responding. Now, I have obviously my own personal thoughts around this conversation. And at the same time, the reason why I didn't respond is because I'm witnessing this conversation creating a division on the brothers and sisters across the globe, just as much as any other conversation. And when there's an ideology or a belief that creates division within people, I would be very wary of that and go, this is not true. This is a falsehood. And it was interesting, because there was even a few comments like, you have a large community. Aren't you concerned
not the guilt gun
influencing people? And I'm like, you know what? You started this conversation with the isolation, the level of isolation that people are feeling, and depression and anxieties that are happening as a result of how this is being handled. So this is a call to action to transcend this polarity and tune into the wisdom of the heart, tune into the wisdom of the love that recognizes that the same life force that's beating my heart right now is beating yours. Doesn't matter if we're in Australia, doesn't matter if we're in Ireland or in New Zealand or in the United States or in South America, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what someone, where they come from or their race or their choice of belief system or all of this. The same life force breathing me is breathing you. Same life force beating my heart is beating yours. So let's tune into what is essential. And when I say essential, what is of our essence and what is most important in this time? Because it's not going to be delivered. That highest awareness, that true enlightened understanding is not coming from the polarized conversation that is being projected and infiltrated on so many different platforms right now.
Oh, yes. Amen, sister. Because
I know, right? It's like a hallelujah.
Well, and you see it, and I hate to say this, but I understand how in Nazi Germany they were to the point where they were blaming people for their misfortune because of the mass, again, repeated mantra, right, of the state-run media, of the government, of the regime, where things that normally a person would say, well, of course that's not true. Of course that's not true. But once that, and about hypnosis, about programming. That's also why I don't watch television, because it's programming. But that repeated mantra, it will get to the point where you could walk outside, and if you've been told the sky is green repeatedly, you believe the sky is green. And if somebody comes out there and says, no, the sky is actually blue, you would say, lock them up, put them away, kill them. I've seen posts where they were actually wishing harm to people who have chosen not to get the vaccines.
Well, that's being infiltrated also by the propaganda. And I'll share with you a few things with regards to this, because I'm having a very interesting personal experience that I'm excited to share, because I feel like it can make a difference in people's lives. One thing is understand how the subconscious mind works. The subconscious mind's prime directive is that it is amenable to suggestion, and it works on the process of deductive reasoning. So if someone's in a state of fear and the subconscious mind is listening and it's amenable to suggestion, and they're receiving this suggestion and they're as truth, even though it's a falsehood, the subconscious mind begins to find all these examples to prove that false premise. Now, so that's one aspect of the conversation. The other aspect of the conversation is this awareness that I keep receiving in my own meditation, is that, Niurka, being in the weeds of this conversation isn't really your true purpose. Like, what's most important for us right now is to be able to transcend this conversation, see through what's happening, see through what is, the muck of what is, into what could be and what is to become. To begin to tune into the vision of a world that is not in this level of opposition, tune into the vision of a world that honors the unity and diversity, and to begin to focus our energy, focus our conversation, focus our intention, focus our power, focus everything on that. And when enough of us do that, we will transform what is manifesting on this planet.
And that's a hard thing to do sometimes, Niurka.
Because it's seductive. This thing is seductive. It's almost like pick a side, pick a side, pick a side. You're like, and I'm like, wait a minute. When you pick a side, you're in opposition to someone, and that is not the ultimate reality. So what is happening is that there's this hypnotic trance of separation.
Yes.
We are separate, or that if you don't do this, you're going to harm me.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated. I couldn't even believe it that the White House in the United States had put out this statement over the holidays. And I'm sharing with you, I remind myself, unplug from this conversation, but the statement was basically like, for the unvaxxed, it is going to be a terrible, horrible holiday of death. I mean, and I don't have it in front of me. So and I'm looking at this and I'm going, wow, this is really not okay.
But see, when you see it in all of its ludicrousy, right? You can, the beautiful thing is that you can become awake to all the different ludicrosies that have happened in the past, in the present, and in the future. And what
obvious absurdities.
Obvious absurdities. Come on. But at the same time, what I try, because there's a lot of people who are waking up, who are seeing through the matrix, right? Let's say that. They've taken the pill. They're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But we want to remind them not to get stuck there, not to watch the train wreck too many times, because it's easy for light workers, for people who are socially conscious, who are waking up to their divine, beautiful selves. It's easy to start to spiral down and become overwhelmed. I know some beautiful people who start trying to find more things that are, look, this is what's happening. The government's doing this to me, this and that, and this and that. And
I'm going to share something with that just
help us shift out of that thinking.
So what I'm seeing in that conversation as you're describing it is this looking outside and this reaction to what appears outside. And that is not the highest choice. The highest choice on this journey of awakening, the highest choice on the path, being in a devotion to wisdom and understanding, living an enlightened life, is to look within and realize that as we turn within, and we turn within to the vision that we're receiving, we turn within to who we really are. Who am I? Who am I devoted to be in the presence of this? What is the highest purpose here? What is the highest destiny? And we begin to look within. The entire experience of reality shifts, because how we experience reality at a certain dimension of consciousness shifts at a higher dimension. So at a higher dimension, things are perceived and experienced differently. That's why I have a gift for every single person that's listening here right now.
Oh, we like gifts.
Yeah, I got something new that's coming up, and it's happening. It's a manifestation free event for the world, because that's what is most essential right now. It's called Manifest Your Vision. And it's a 3-day challenge for all of us to come together from all around the world for 3 days. Because what I know is that as each of us is living in the manifestation of our unique vision, and then we bring that all together to contribute in service to the planet and to all of our brothers and sisters around the world, that's what's going to create the shift. And it begins with our conversation, having an inspired conversation rather than a fear-based conversation. So I'm just going to drop that link here. If y'all are listening, go to my website. It's the niurkainc.com, niurkainc.com/manifest. niurkainc.com/manifest. And it's going to be a free event. Invite all your friends so we can continue this empowered conversation and this inspired conversation.
And we will make sure that we have the link to that web page on the show notes. So if anybody has any questions about it, they can just click on that link and go straight to it. I love that. Because I know that we as human beings were actually born to manifest a divine, beautiful life.
Yes.
It's just the programming that we have been sold. We've been sold a bill of goods. And this is for the first time really in human history. Look about how connected we actually are. And the lengths that institutions have gone to separate us, right?
But you know what? You're so right. And here's what I remind myself about, because I was even focusing on my attention on the bill of goods during these last 2 years as I was wrapping my mind around what the heck is going on here. And the realization is that our attention is our creative power. If we unplug from this bill of goods, the bill of goods has no power anymore. It only has power because it's seducing and hypnotizing the awareness. The moment we go, you know what? I'm going to turn within. I'm going to tune into conscious community. I'm going to tune into visioning. I'm going to tune into higher purpose. I'm going to tune in to an inspirited conversation. And I'm going to begin to dive deep into this conversation until this is more real than anything else. And we create as we speak. You've heard me say this before from my courses in a book I wrote years ago called Supreme Influence, is that our attention and our word has power. So I'm so with you that that's what has been. And the breakthrough is this devotion. And imagine what the world would be like when enough of us come together in that new inspired conversation.
And this is what we need to share with each other. This is what, not only for our own journey, but to bring others along as well, and to teach our children. We need to teach our children this as well, that this is, it's important to go within. You don't need to look outside of yourself. Mm-hmm. And isn't
compassion. I think compassion plays a big part of it too, because we recognize that the people that are in a reactive state of consciousness and pointing the finger, and if you don't do this, you're killing me, if you don't do these actions and mandates and all of this, is that they're just in a state of fear.
Yeah.
So rather than condemning, it's going, okay, let me really understand.
Yeah, no more division. That's the thing too. Yeah, you can't judge. You cannot judge someone else. When you see somebody that's in their car by themselves wearing a mask, just throw them some love. Throw them some love.
Or when you see someone who's putting a mask on their 3-year-old. And then we think about what's going on with these children that have arrived on this planet at this particular time that haven't known anything different other than seeing some children only seeing adults for that period of time because they weren't allowed to connect with other kids. And this is a conversation of really of huge importance, because these babies, these children are in the impressionable years of their life. They're in the imprinting stages of childhood where the conscious mind hasn't yet developed to say false, not true. So the subconscious mind is just receiving everything as truth. And this
like a
is
sponge, right? It's just soaking everything up.
And this will become imprints within their psyche that will play themselves out. I mean, so many of my courses is like people come to me because they recognize they're in their 20s or their 30s or their 40s or their 50s or their 60s or their 70s or whatever age, and they're still reacting to patterns of pains and hurts and traumas from their childhood. So having this level of awareness for our little ones, I think, is a really important conversation as well.
And to be aware of what we're putting out ourselves, so that they're observing, right? Right. Absolute.
They're mirroring.
Yes. I adore you.
I adore you. I'm so happy we're here, because this conversation, I would venture to say, is the most important conversation we could really be having right now. And the more of us that bring this light in and continue to shine the light. And I'm here to share with everyone who's listening that your light is so important right now. And there's people out there that are giving more attention to the darkness than to the light. But the reality is, when you walk into a dark room and you flip on the switch, darkness dissolves in the presence of the light. And it's not a fight. It's not a struggle. It's an awakening. It's an illumination. So let's all flip on the switch. Let's flip on that switch.
Absolutely. And
our awareness, the switch of our love, the switch of the recognition that we are all here as one people, the unity and the diversity, the beautiful kaleidoscope of beings from around the world,
And flip on the compassion, flip on the switch, flip on the compassion as well. Flip
on the compassion as well. And even for myself, I want everyone to know that I've been sitting and talking to myself in this, because I've noticed emotions coming up within myself in the presence of this. And I've come to a place of quite a bit of mastery of my own state. And as I'm looking at this, I'm going, what mandates? Like, wait a minute. Like, I could feel a state coming up that it was not serving me in the presence of some of this, and going, okay, how can I own my own sovereignty while being loving and compassionate and forgiving and present in every moment? Who am I devoted to be in light of what's happening right now?
And to know
it's
that
a practice.
And to know that to know that ultimately too, that you are safe, that you are loved, that you are protected. And I think that's something that's very difficult. It's very difficult for people, especially, again, because when you have so much fear. I remember when I took off the tarmac from LAX heading to Australia. I had this sinking feeling when the plane took off. I said, I don't think I will feel America's soil again. It was such an odd, because I grew up my whole entire life, 55 at that time, 56 years in California. Yeah. And when I took off, I said, I don't know if I'll be able to come back here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to be back in my country where I knew everything. I had my house, everything was there. I had to leave to come here to Australia. And with the whole thing with COVID, everybody had the mask on in the airplane, and it was just fear. And I just remember saying, you know what? I'm stepping off the cliff. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to land. There was just something inside that said, you are going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Whatever happens, you're exactly what you're supposed to be. If the plane crashes today, right now, in 5 minutes, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And that is it's an empowering feeling. It's strange because it's something we're not used to, but it brings the power and the control back to you. Does that make sense? I know it makes sense to you, but
totally. It's so much of that is bringing our attention, bringing our awareness into this present moment, and being right here, right now, in this present moment, which is life. Because when this fear is what someone is experiencing, they're usually resisting. They're resisting something that they project into the future. They're resisting something that they don't want from their past, and they're not really present. And in that state, it's like you're not even thinking clear. I mean, do you remember when in the US, when this whole thing started, and I don't know if it happened around the world too, but there was like this toilet paper craze, and everybody went out to buy like all this toilet paper, and the toilet paper is gone. How do you explain a phenomenon like that? That is only explained by a trance that people got into in the presence of a fear-based projection that was coming from news media. So the realization, I mean, I go back to news media only because it's so much of what's instigating what is happening, and how important it is for us to be aware of where we're plugging our energy, our attention, our creative power.
Well, and as we know, the media, this is no surprise to my listeners, as we all know, the media is embedded with corporations, large corporations, doesn't matter, pharmaceutical or not. Okay. It's not an altruistic, nonprofit organization that's bringing you the news. but also there's a term in the news industry. I know this because I was in it, although I was in the more enlightened news media. But there's a term that is, if it bleeds, it leads. In other words, how many people have died? How tragic is it? The most tragic gets front page, gets right there in your face, repeated over and over and over and over and over again. You notice with the COVID thing, it was this many people died. This many people died. This many people died. This many people died. And never did you hear, this is how many people who got COVID but survived. This is how many people have.
This is how people natural immunity.
Yes. Oh, nobody talked about that. Nobody talked about that. And nobody talked about things that you could do to improve your immune system. Instead, it was mask up, breathe your own carbon monoxide, but not like, go out, get some sunshine, be with people that you love. How good is that for your immunity? Hold somebody that you love, hold your child. No, it was all, stay away, mask up, fear, 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 fear. And so that's also when I knew. I was like, you're not telling people some good healthy things to do, So
well, healthy things to do and how important this is, because really honoring and taking care of your body. Here's the things that are most essential. And this is what I was so present to in my meditation today: honoring and taking care of your body, releasing the densities that are in the body. What do I mean by the density? The false beliefs, these judgments, this resistance, the not enoughness, the victim persecutor consciousness. What happens is these densities, like they take up so much room in the body that it does not create the space that allows your highest light, your unique soul expression, your true purpose to be manifest right here, right now, in the eternal now through your body. So a lot of people are literally disconnected from their light and their soul's purpose because their body is carrying too much density. So the releasing of this density, recognizing it begins with awareness. That's what it begins with, awareness. Oh, wow, there's a false belief here. This belief that, oh my gosh, I'm not safe, or this belief that, and then some people are in the mindset, well, what do you mean? It's true. It's true. It's like, if you argue for your limitations, you will own them. So coming into an awareness that who I am is not all of this density. And what I mean by density, again, is these beliefs, these perceptions, these fears, these doubts, these limitations, this idea of not enoughness in some way, shape, or form, scarcity, lack, limitation. These are examples of what I'm inviting everyone, if you're experiencing that right now, to transcend and observe it, almost like you're watching it on a movie, and become curious about it. Because the releasing of that is what will liberate you to live in the full embodiment of who you really are, and to walk the path of liberation in a way that empowers you to fulfill your true destiny, that you arrived with a higher destiny. And that's clouded in those lower states of consciousness. It's clouded. So that's why I created this free event. So I want to make sure everybody comes to that thing, because it's all about releasing anything that has been showing up as a density. So you tune into the highest vision for your life, and then you bring forth that vision in a way where you manifest the grandest vision of your life in service, right? In a way that creates value and beauty and prosperity for everyone. And as you're living in that way, you are empowered to contribute to our world at the highest level. And that's the reason why I created it and why I'm giving it away to the whole world for free, because when you're living in that way, it creates a cosmic ripple effect.
And I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna make sure that I'm there as well. We're gonna make sure that as many people from Out of the Box with Christine joins you. And how wonderful, because they get to spend 3 days with you. Was it 3 days? 3 days? 3 days.
3 days.
Okay.
Total 3 days, and it's free. We do have
And
a VIP option. Yeah, it's totally free. It's totally free. Come bring all your friends. Yeah, it's totally free. It's totally free. Come bring all your friends. Get a couch full of people at your house and hug them.
exactly. Exactly.
Doesn't matter what time it is. If it's 2 a.m. where you are in the world, then take a nap in the afternoon and join us at 2 a.m.
Exactly. Put it on your smart TV. Use that TV for something good.
Totally.
Oh, thank you so very much, Niurka. You were exactly what I needed, and I know you were exactly what our listeners and our viewers on YouTube what they needed as well, because you came into my consciousness, you came across my scroll right at the right time, and I knew when I saw you, I said, I got that calling, those goosebumps, the confirmation goosebumps. I go with that, and so I'm just so grateful that you were able to join us today. And we're gonna have everybody join you for 3 days. Let's make sure we put the link in the show notes so people can join you, and I'll be there as well, just to share and root everybody on as well. Thank you so much, darling.
I love it. I'm so excited to be with you. I'm so excited to be with all your listeners and have them all join us. I'm going to say the link just in case someone's listening.
Please do.
Niurka, which is my first name, Inc., which is my website, niurkainc.com/manifest. And you spell that NIURKAINC.com/manifest. And can I leave them with one final thought?
You sure can. I'll even give you a nice screenshot here. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want everyone who's listening to know that, and as a reminder, that you have a gift. There is no one on the planet like you. No one has your unique expression. No one has your unique way of shining light into the world. No one has your talents and your gifts. And the greatest tragedy, I would say, is for someone to die without expressing the fullness of their gifts. So this is a reminder that you have this gift. You're precious. You are loved. You are so loved. And spread your love, spread your light, and spread your gift. There's no one on the planet like you. And you living in the full embodiment of your expression is a puzzle piece for this tapestry of life that will benefit us all. And I love you. I'm sending love wherever you are. Know that you are loved. Know that you are seen. Know that you are appreciated. Even if we haven't met, I could feel the consciousness that beats your heart is the same as the consciousness that beats my heart. And I love you. And Christine, I love you. Thank you for putting this all together. And namaste, which is a Sanskrit word that means the spirit within me, the essence within me, sees, honors the spirit within you.
Namaste. Namaste. Thank you, darling. And you're welcome back anytime. I know that this program is going to resonate with so many people, and I want you to come back as many times as you'd like.
Hallelujah. I'm all in.
All right. Thank you again, Niurka. And make sure that you folks, in the show notes is the link to that 3-day event that's absolutely free. And I hope that you click on it and sign up. It's going to be an amazing experience and just what we need right now. I want to thank you also, wonderful listeners and viewers, for tuning in today. Remember, if you want more information about this podcast, you can go to outoftheboxwithchristine.com. If you want more information about me, you can go to christineblasdale.com. And until next time, as we always say, remember to think outside of that damn box. Bye for now.